from 2015 till date, I've never been the same. Wow. I've been more of me. I've been like a wounded lion on the journey. I've been like my determination and my tenacity is serious. I can only describe it like unless they kill God.
People ask me where I get all my energy from the stage to the studio and to my desk. I am the energy god, and you can be one too.
You're listening to Adesope Live, the Afrobeats podcast.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to another edition of Adesope Live, the official Afrobeats podcast here at the Afri Media Studios in London, where we break down the hottest topics in the culture. And once in a while, I invite a special guest to sit one-on-one with me to break it down. As always, I want to say thank you for your subscriptions. We're past the 28,000 subscription mark. We need a lot more to get this platform as big as possible so we can support our own people without having to wait on others to support us. We appreciate it. Keep commenting, liking, sharing, and subscribing. Brought to you by the Energy God Energy Drink. As always, drink the Energy God. Be yourself and stay energized. Support our own. This is for our culture from the Afro-pop, Afrobeats culture. Now back to the studio here in London. I am joined by a superstar all the way from Africa. West side of Africa, to be exact. Representing the Gold Coast. Black Star. Ashaman. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the award-winning superstar, Beam Nation CEO, my brother, Stonebwoy is in the house.
Thank you. Thank you, brother. Thank you. It's an honor. I'm never gonna lie to be on this show.
Listen, bro, I've been a massive fan from the beginning. I've been a fan of the music, and every time we connect is nothing but respect. And now, watching you and listening to your interviews, it's even made me a bigger fan. How are you doing? How has it been, bro?
I'm grateful, man. I'm happy to be here. I mean, it's very obvious. I've never missed any episode. As much as I see it on Instagram, I go on YouTube to watch. I've probably seen 80% of it, to be just truthful, because you have to update yourself with some of the vibes that go on it. We're really grateful and alive to be here and doing this within our time.
Yeah.
Know?
Listen, one of the interviews that actually gave this platform a spotlight was during the pandemic, and it was an interview with you. Zoom interview that I had with you. You were in a hotel, we couldn't connect, and we just had that Zoom interview. I put it out, and that interview went viral and did numbers and put awareness on the podcast. So again, you're one of the people that has been committed to developing our culture, developing our people, and showing yourself where necessary.
I'm really grateful.
And I appreciate you for
really
that.
Thankful.
Listen,
really thankful.
Bro, you're shining from teeth to neck. You're gleaming, you're shining. Talk to me about this new space of 2023 that Stonebwoy is in. What is this new space, man?
This new space, I call it the next dimension, the higher dimension, you know. Practically the fifth dimension, which is the title of my album to be released, and definitely the fifth album. And when I look at people who I've always looked up to, they are running into their exaggeratively 1,000th album. So that means
people that are working tirelessly.
So that means, we have been on a journey, but there's definitely a lot more that we are yet to experience. Exactly, when it comes to experience, there are lots more that we are yet to experience, although we have also gathered a few experiences that should be able to make us worthy and ready for the next elevation. So this is what 2023 has for me, and I'm grateful to be alive first and foremost, because the past 3 years has had a lot of people fall out. And even this particular month itself has taught us a lot, and I'm still brokenhearted about how two of our, young icon and an elderly icon, may their soul rest in peace. I mean, AKA
absolutely.
The way he dropped, it's a hell of a conversation. You know, taking away from how he dropped, but thinking into what could be, how,
could have led to
when,
that?
why. It takes you back into real life and makes you know. One thing I take from there is that, look, we are stars, but we are humans.
Human beings.
We are going through, we're dealing with, we have enemies, we have life to live, apart from having to also have the star life to live. And so when people see musicians and feel like, or stars or actresses, actresses, they should actually respect and know that these people are doing two lives in a lifetime,
That's deep.
you know. And guess what? My own friend, Costa.
Costa Teach. He was here. He was here with me that summer.
I was in Saudi with Costa.
One of the
now.
nicest boys, man.
At Costa, I brought Costa to Ghana now. Wow. For Beam concert. That would be the biggest, only Ghanaian show he had done at that level. Because we all loving Costa, loving the vibes, but there must be somebody that will, and I know that is the role I play. You see, I make sure
There's some connection.
let's connect. And I think it's not like I know that is the calling that I really, really, really represent. So and so it breaks my heart even more, like, but only in context, just, you know, to expand on the fact that
Absolutely.
we live two lives. And so if you see artists, as much as you think, say they get kind words can do a
Little
lot.
support.
Kind words, I tell you honestly, even the tiniest gifts mean so much to us, because now two lives now would they live like this.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Listen, it's so deep, man. It's deep what you're talking about. And one of the reasons I wanted to start like that was Untitled Junction was your last album, was the fourth album.
Yeah.
What has been the differences between your first, your debut in the industry, second,
Yeah.
third, your fourth, and now what you have said in private quarters and public quarters to be, this is the fifth album, which is supposed to kick down extra doors.
Sure.
What has been the difference, the progressions? How would you describe that?
The differences will be the experiences that are being turned over from when I first released a first body of work, which would be grade 1.
Yep.
And then I moved on to Necessary Evil.
Yep.
Then I moved on to Epistles of Mama. Then I moved on to Untitled Junction.
Yep.
Then we're going into the fifth dimension. So when you even take the title of the albums, I think it truly tells a correlation between grade 1 and then it moved into Necessary Evil. So I was like, I believe I am the one grade that you needs to be amongst the place, the one grade. Then I goes into Necessary Evil. You can't do without. And then I go into Episodes of Mama, where I was at a place where I'd lost my mom within that period, and I needed a lot of encouragement, or I had to sink back into a lot of advice, because everybody must know by now that my mom is my God, you know, which translates into not only the physical form of mothers, but the mother nature. That's how we say mother nature, you know what I mean? So it's as deep as that, you know. So, and then I came to Untitled Junction. So I was at a point where I expressed the fact that I'm at a junction where I'm experiencing a lot of sounds. I think, luckily enough, as young as we are, I've come from a school that would have had an album last like, you know, a year plus, just to be fair,
Yep.
into when an album will last like a month.
A month. Once everybody listens to it, they're asking for new music.
Exactly. Into this, so all these experiences will be the differences that I've gathered along the way, and the blessings to be actually multifaceted is also a thing that I really acknowledge, and it is not just by acknowledgement, but by proof of work. You know,
Facts.
to be able to prove that And I think over the years, even starting the journey properly, I think that we made the right choice. And when I say me, I mean the make that consists of myself.
The team.
You know what I mean?
The energies.
Yes, the external team and the internal
Absolutely.
team from the beginning. You know,
Absolutely.
to want to stand for a collective style, which would be dancehall, Afrobeats, reggae. This has been me. High life, everything. This has been me from scratch.
Exactly.
This hasn't been like along the way he switched. No.
So
This has been
always
me
been
from day one.
intentional about carrying the three genres that influence
Yes,
you
and
along
more.
the line.
That's why I said I will be grateful for the internal team and the external team. You know, when, for instance, God said, let us create mankind. You see those people where you they talk to, those people where me self can't talk to, say, okay, man, do all like this.
The unseen.
Those ones they try for me. Well.
The unseen
That team,
energy.
That team,
But talk to me. That's a very difficult one, especially when when we were growing up. You know, reggae dancehall was it. You know, Lucky Dube. You know, the list goes
Blondie,
on.
Majek Fashek, Senzo,
Mono.
And
The list
I'm happy I
goes
got to
on.
link with Rasky Mono through Black Rasta as well.
Blackie, the list goes on. But when we got to a certain
I'm
level,
a fan like that.
the genre that was popular changed, and it became
Yes.
a lot more Afrobeats, Afro pop, and
Yes.
all these things. So for
Don't forget to mention this man from Nigeria. I'm telling you.
Danny Wilson.
Yes, even this one where they popular from Ajegunle.
Daddy Shoki.
Thank you now.
Come on.
See, the list goes on. No,
Absolutely.
that's a
So
conversation.
the list goes on. And now once this
And
now
even in
switch-
Ghana, let me just throw it in Black Prophet, Osajefu, names.
people that represented reggae and
Names.
dancehall to its
General
core.
Marcos, who lives in UK right now. Names.
But when the genre
changed, yeah.
for an artist that had been inspired heavily by these original sounds from the West Indies that we love so much, and it looked like the people that were winning now were doing pop and R&B and Afrobeats and stuff. Where did you find the strength to stay the course and continue to do what you were used to doing in reggae and dancehall?
It was simplified to me like this. All the other ones that were becoming popular were inspired off of the same reggae. That's it.
Facts.
That's
agree.
it.
Facts.
That's how simplified it was to me.
1000%.
That's it. So I
1000%.
knew I couldn't get lost on the journey. But guess what? Redefine it, because music is dynamic. The simplest form, the constant is change. You know, but staying grounded is important. If the constant is change, then why do we always have to stay grounded? So staying grounded doesn't mean you don't adapt to change. So those are the factors that I held strong.
You've always spoken in emotional and glowing terms about your mom, her role in your life, her impact in your life. Talk to me on one hand about this amazing African mother. And then on the other hand, of how you managed to find strength even in that loss.
Thank you very much. I would start by saying I know it's not everybody watching right now that would be proud of, their mothers. Definitely. So that it doesn't become like everybody speaking mother. And in many instances, the mothers were the fathers.
Facts.
So
1000%.
So see it as that.
Facts.
See this conversation as that.
Yes.
It's only fortunate that my mother played that mother. So before I even continue. So on one hand, when you said African mother, just imagine African mother
Facts.
now. You see the memes on
They do
Instagram.
everything.
I just want to bring it to terms. You see
Yes.
the memes on Instagram about African mothers.
Yep.
How they sometimes show their love in unique forms.
ways.
You know what I mean? I don't want to use the word weird. Don't want to put it on the side. In unique ways. How they even congratulate you inside
Yes.
and come and tell you you're
You're not doing well enough.
and the next minute you're pushing. You see, it's really these things. It's really these things. But also I think the add-on would be that my mom and I, have a very emotional bond, which is even very more spiritual. It stems from stories from my birth, which I think I'll share on different platforms. And another time. Sorry,
yeah.
I don't mean different
Yeah,
platforms.
yeah.
I mean to say a different time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And growing up as well, like my journey had been like, and at a point when I almost lost my life, how she, I can just simplify it to be that I've always been trying to lose my life, but she's always, as much as she birthed me, she's always there to be there, like, and her vibes, the way she, that's how come I hold her so dear. And there's one person that I will always, I'll miss in the physical, but I don't miss in the spiritual.
Did you manage that loss? How do you switch that energy of a loss into the spiritual that you're talking about, which still gives you a little bit of comfort?
Yeah, because I think I'm able to, because that's what she would want, even in the physical. Because whilst having lost a few things while I was alive, the way and manner she would encourage me and speak to my soul is the same way I think it's speaking to a loss. That, even she's been the one that I've lost, is still speaking to me that
she
same
comforts
way.
You.
And then I think from 2015 till date, I've never been the same. Wow. I've been more of me. I've been like a wounded lion on the journey. I've been like my determination and my tenacity is serious. I can only describe it like, unless they kill God. I'm telling you, that's how come you find me doing some of the things that are being done first. It's not because I want to hype with it. With the level of tenacity and movement, you can only do some of the first things. That's all I can say.
Listen, your relationship, your relationship with Jamaica, obviously coming from dancehall, and the impact that dancehall has had on Afrobeats and Afropop. And I say it all the time, Two-Face is a reggae artist. Burna Boy is a reggae artist. Wizkid is a reggae artist. A lot of people forget that. Those are the stems where they come from. Right. Yes, they also are gifted with a variety of talents that they could switch styles into any sports, but their blood drips reggae dancehall.
Exactly.
But you also have connected with Jamaica in such a way that the bond is effortless. I saw on social media where you had written that you had 41 Jamaican collaborations. That
43 plus.
Yeah, I put a question mark and said Jamaica, 41, and then you sent me the whole list. 43 plus Jamaican collaborations. First, we need to take a stop to that and give it a round of applause. Stop playing. And I'm
One,
seeing
two,
Morgan Heritage.
three,
I'm seeing
four,
Shaggy.
five.
I'm like Sean Paul. I'm seeing
Beanie Man,
God
Sizzler.
damn. I saw
the
Cable
list,
till I think the list is crazy.
Yeah.
What exactly? Talk to me about that love for Jamaica and how important it is for us as Africans now to feel that oneness and that bond with our lost brothers and sisters.
Yes, really very important. And that's why I very much respect the way you started by saying that, all of us in our generation must have gotten heavily inspired off of reggae music, because Africa loves reggae music. And at one particular point in an era, the most dominant genre of music that would have been played across everywhere would be reggae music across Africa, not only Ghana, not only Nigeria, etc. And then the dynamics and the changes whatsoever, is making it seem like there was nothing like that. It's making it seem like we are not acknowledging our inspirations enough. I've been in conversations in Jamaica, outside of Jamaica, even on social media, and I see how there is a need for claim of how they have played some roles
Yes, absolutely.
in the existence of the Afrobeats today.
Absolutely.
And so we also have to be very
Intentional
about sharing the credit,
I completely
which I
agree with
think
you.
this, me and you speaking about it right now, could be one of the only 3 platforms speaking about it this way.
Yeah.
So I can feel the energy of our brothers and
Yeah.
sisters, who some of them are very adamant
Yeah.
and very to a point of ignorance,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
But it's not supposed to be like that, because now that we are leading in the fore, we need to acknowledge the fact that it's been going round and round, just like they say, everything is moving.
Absolutely.
And if it's gotten to this point where we are also not the only ones, we are also on top tier like this, we can only want to bring everything together.
Back.
And I think, what am I thinking? I know it is not, we are not even intentionally trying to segregate, especially us from Africa.
Absolutely.
Especially us from Africa, I repeat.
Absolutely.
Because I am one from Africa, you know. Fortunately, I'm not born outside of the continent.
Yeah.
So we have every experience
Yep.
we could ever share,
Yep.
you know, with the little knowledge that we have. But we also don't have all the knowledge about our brothers and sisters in the diaspora,
Yep.
ranging from their mixture of the other, you know, cultures, from the Indian, from the Chinese, from the Spanish,
British,
from the Brit.
Yes.
So more time when we are actually speaking to the blackness of the Caribbean diaspora and the Americas, a few of them take offense of not even being black at all.
Yeah.
Because there is another school of thought that wants to say that the blacks that were indigenous in these areas of the diaspora don't have no link to Africa. What is that?
Yeah.
Whereas I strongly believe that once you're black,
once you're black, you're from Africa.
so that should tell us that we have been traveling before slave trade.
That's deep, brother. That's hard.
You see me? So for me,
hard.
everything comes back to a nice place where I am confident enough to continue to propel all these names that are, as I go along. It might be difficult for me because when you have one thing to carry, you carry it well and lightly.
Yep.
But when it falls on you as an obligation from when I wasn't even probably grown to this point, and I decided to carry such a thing, to mix all these inspirations because they inspire me. This is what I will always preach about and tell you: Afro dancehall reggae. Take it or leave it.
Listen, I've always said it like,
Because
I grew up with Bob Marley, the Wailers, and then I got to Yellow Man. From Yellow Man, I got to Shabba Ranks, then got to Buju, Shaggy. The list goes on.
Exactly.
That's our thread. And everything in between. Maxi Priest, anybody, Barris Hammond.
And I could also imagine if it's that at the time the coolest African legends were being patronized by our parents, not us.
Of course. Facts.
Seen?
That's natural.
You see the vibe? The coolest African legends would be highest patronage would have been coming from our parents.
Absolutely.
Me and you would be like, mama, you take that one now.
Absolutely. So I appreciate the fact that you talk about that. I'm continuously going to talk about that because I saw interviews with Benny Man and Shaggy, and I felt I saw a little angst when the word Afrobeats was thrown at their table, and the fact that they understood that Afrobeats did take a little bit from their culture, and they feel like that credit isn't given back. So any opportunity I get to share that, I want to let them know.
We really do have to give it, because I mean,
everybody is reggae dancehall from Africa.
We do have to give it. Whilst we say that, I can vouch for every African artist
that they respect.
That look. If we're not saying it doesn't mean that I can vouch and put my head on the neck that we don't have one bit of animosity or intentional discredit in our bloods. But it's rather the acceptance.
And just saying it.
Well, and
need to share.
no, not from our side only. It's rather the acceptance of the Caribbean to actually believe that it is true.
This is part of us.
That it is part of us. Because if now you understand that it's part of us, then it's going to have to now also go into the historic area of how it was part of you
from the beginning.
Of how
really
the dancehall and reggae in its original form was part of you. You see us today.
We're going in. We're going in. Like I said, we're going in. Listen, this is Stonebwoy.
So it circles.
One of Africa's finest superstars, representing GH, Ghana, a shaman to be exact. Let's talk about Ghana. Ghana has become an incredible hub, not only for tourism, for entertainment, arts and culture, for acceptance, for return back home to Africa.
Yeah.
Ghana has become a pivotal point for everybody that loves Africa, particularly today.
Yeah.
You mentioned Ghana first. Talk to me about what Ghana is doing right and why people must come and taste in the goodness of Ghana.
You see, sometimes I just like to talk the truth, but I get into a lot of trouble for saying it.
Talk your talk, brother.
Okay, before I go, I hail Naija. You don't say me that Naija voice, because I get artists. If you say, let me share this one. My middle name is Eche, right? But Nigerians call it Uche. A few Nigerians that I've come across who call me Uche. Because once they see the Eche, Uche comes to their mind immediately.
Yes.
And I have aunties, I have uncles who are Nigerians. So me, I love Nigeria true. And how dare me? This is not, because I know that question will come ask you right now. If I can say, but I enjoy those too. Like I enjoy those. Like I think it's toxic a little.
Yes.
But then
it's very important.
We go through and we're looking for that comment that will kick you, that will open your mind to a next school of thought.
Absolutely.
That is also existent.
Yep.
Because for me, we're always looking into delving deeper into other school of thoughts, because it cannot just be, so that we keep adding to the masses to keep bringing everybody to the light. So I think Ghana is doing very well, and Ghana would forever take its credit for being one of the first countries, or the first country sub-Saharan Western Africa to attain independence. And I should only think that in that vein, there are a lot of, things that spring up to that level, because even once upon a time I've read that there was a settlement that had to be done in Ghana. It was a Nigerian dispute amongst the heads of states.
Wow.
Ojukwu,
Biafra.
That they had to have it in a brie. And Achampon was the one that was moderating. Our general was moderating. So this politically, this tells you that Ghana and Nigeria
have been together.
And when I got to learn just 2 days ago that whole Ghana must go that happened was actually something that us, Ghana, start that thing. You have to be honest. And the person who told me is senior member, well. Wow. So I got to learn. I'm like, because when you hear Ghana must go now, you think, it's Nigeria.
But what did you hear?
The root of it is, there was a setting. I think that was if like Naja would say, it falls for hand. It wasn't really meant to start
that trend.
It was actually probably meant to empower economically.
Yep. The people to go home to
no, the Ghanaians in the ground, because Nigeria, as it will be in their nature, will thrive everywhere.
Yeah, as hustlers.
So imagine if you are hustling and you are doing, and so it fall for hand. And then the reverse, therefore, became Ghana must go from Nigeria. But you hardly hear the root causes of these things. So what I'm going to say, I don't know why I delve into that side, but truthfully, Ghana really also has this role to play, in actually making Africa
Bringing
what it
people.
really is.
Facts.
Because only Africa is us. Africa is not only Ghana. That's
Yes.
what I mean to say.
Yes.
Africa is not, even before it was shared like butter and bread in the 1884
Yep, the convention in Berlin.
convention
or whatever.
in Berlin.
Yep.
After they've been trading with our indigenous
Yes.
people left and right,
Yes.
left,
Doing what they
diverse
like.
forms, different
Yeah.
ways whatsoever. We were mostly one people.
Yeah.
We would have been
There were no
called
borders.
would have been called the Alkebulan, which is the home of check it out. That's the original indigenous African name by us as black people, as inhabitants. It moved from Alkebulan to other ones, and the actual meaning of Africa itself you might not like. So if people are coming home to Ghana to a large extent, they are coming home to Africa.
From
They're,
there, they
they're-
can
they're
get
really
into
not
the
coming
bloodstream
home only to Ghana.
Yeah, yeah. It's an entry
And people,
point.
yes, people come to Ghana and they go to Nigeria and they
Facts.
go to da.
Entry point.
And I think, owing to the fact that our tourism has positioned itself,
Yeah, you gotta give it to them, man.
and there's a level of, you see, we talk the talk, and we all don't know it all.
Yeah,
We are
yeah.
also just talking what we
see.
we see and
Yeah,
believe,
yeah.
and we stand to be corrected.
Yes.
This is a honest conversation.
Yes.
So I might as well just pour my heart. I think when you think of security, there's high levels of you letting your guards down a little bit
Facts.
when you think of Ghana and Accra,
Absolutely.
more than you think about Nigeria.
Other places.
So
or Johannesburg.
these are factors that would be, the indices that would encourage a lot of
encourage
people. And I think
people
from
coming
2019, when Ghana really
the return, year of return.
year of return, which was a brilliant idea, that has actually sprung a lot of things. And the Almighty Afro Nation Festival, the second hosting
Facts.
after
Portugal.
which I am always
Yeah.
proud to be
Absolutely.
part or the Ghanaian that will represent.
Represent
I
it.
remember when it comes to One Africa also.
Yeah.
Nami Dede. You see, so
You've been
we
pushing.
are playing our own. we are representing hard. You know what I mean? So when it came to Ghana, it brought the whole crowd, and then followed by Afrochella
Afrochella.
as well, which is now the Afrofuture.
Afrofuture.
So these are festivals. I mean, not to even take it away from my own festivals too, where
you
when I
bring in
do
your
beam concert, when I
bring
do
in
my Jamo
your
people,
jam-
when I dey hold that reggae feeling down, because there's a need to, there's a constant money loss that has to be going on for us to keep that. So if you can't find out and say things are happening, I think these are the reasons why a lot more. And it's not only happening in Ghana. It's just because I'm here sitting in on this honorable platform that you should definitely ask about where I'm from. So for me, Ghana is like a surname.
Which is home.
Ghana is like a surname for me. You know what I mean? It's like a surname, but we all come from Africa.
I want to speak to you about Ghana. Since we're in Ghana, let's talk about the entertainment side of Ghana, the representation side of Ghana.
Wow.
Your brothers in Nigeria have really been shining, but as far as I'm concerned, Ghana has just as much incredible talents from that nation, which you're one of. A variety of entertainers. Sarkodie just did London. Kwame Eugene was just in London.
They're
Mr.
still
Drew
here.
was here.
FBI is
Kechi,
here.
FBS here, representing.
They're here.
Ghana has also produced incredible talents from time.
Yeah, and it's still producing.
And still producing.
Yeah.
But the conversation continues to be that it looks like your brothers across Lagos or whatever are getting a lot more spotlight, particularly in international, on international platforms, in the international markets. How has that been for you, trying to also get your right accolades? And what do you think needs to be done to uplift others and their talents to where it really needs to be from Ghana?
Thank you very much for this question. This is really broad.
Yeah.
So we'll tackle them small. You said it seems like our brothers from Nigeria. Take away the seems.
Yep.
It is.
Yep.
We are here to speak the truth. And let the other parts that will trigger and grow the conversation. Nigeria has played I don't think we could play that role if it's only Nigeria that can play that role that they're playing. And I don't mean to say that it's a role so that I'm not watering it down, my people. I'm not watering it down in any context.
Yep.
And I've said this before. You guys can go back into my tweets. One time I said this and I got a backslash from my own senior brother. And I didn't understand that. But it's, I just remembered that because of saying and acknowledging the fact that it's Nigeria that has actually held the African representation in in the forefront in the West. I'm trying to choose my words so that I can explain one. Yeah. Like, it's like when you put Chris Brown, or put somebody that would probably do the same thing.
Yep.
I'm just mentioning. When you put, maybe it's only Beyonce that when you put now, we might hardly have our African rep. Yeah. Because rather, if you put somebody to fill up an MSG as a male African Westerner, we have felt MSG now. Hey, we have filled. You might say felt. Then we have felt it as Africans. We have felt it. We have filled it.
And we filled it up.
And who did? Break it down. Na Nigerian did.
Yeah.
Could a Ghanaian do? Could a Ghanaian do? Yes, we could.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Not a no, but who has done?
Okay.
Could and done is two different things. So now the whole conversation is about could. And we all want to be able to be seen and be doing.
Yes.
But those that are doing must be doing something right. It's never coincidental.
Yes.
Like I was saying, I was sitting in a meeting the other time, and I also got to learn that there was, as much as I know, this is a vivid, contribution to the fact why Nigeria is where they are on the entertainment scene. Because a few years ago, I'm alive now, I'm not dead.
Yeah.
I know that there was in my era, please, I'm not talking
recently.
Pre my time. Pre one, I don't have idea. So that's why the conversation is open, so that our fathers, our uncles can also teach us and say, look, now this one I ring Grammy first, so now this one you understand. So when we speak, we're only speaking at the time. It was renditions of different styles and different sounds. When Ghana had hip life, Nigeria couldn't have. There could be, but the same Nigeria was supporting the hip life that was, because then it was shining.
Collaborating
Reggie
with
Rockstones,
Reggie
VIPs,
Rockstone.
until date, winning Wechi would be one of the biggest songs coming out from the continent, which has been and we know samples that have come out of those songs. One thing that breaks it for me is when Wechi had to be renditioned by Patience Ozok. I'm like, Abba, not only Patience, people like actors and actresses have. So you can tell, and then Kiss the Bride. So when we had Hip Life, I do not think there was a cool makeup or a cool rendition of a Nigerian style.
No.
At the moment.
No, Hip Life, Stage A, Castro, Tiffany, 5-5, Rough and Smooth. I can go on.
Or Brafwalk.
It's because I listen to that.
You know what I mean? So I think that we have also been in a cut at that time, moving, doing things. At the time when Ghanaians staged outside of Ghana, there was interest.
Absolutely.
Then I don't know, all of a sudden, because we're talking about Ghana, many of the comments I'm making is not necessarily in comparison to Nigeria.
You're just speaking about
so
Ghana,
that it doesn't water down. Talking about Ghana. And then now what happened? It's going, it's coming, it's going, it's coming, and then it's going, it's coming is a typical. And then this is where we are today. And I am not always proud of the kind of interest or where the level has grown to when it comes to interest or excitement
From the Ghanaian.
From majority. I beg go. At least I go class 1, class 2. My papa pays school fees. So I'm choosing
And you
my
graduate
words
for university too.
and I'm still in school.
Uh-huh.
Majority of the Ghanaians in the diaspora. In Ghana is us. They play together. But in the diaspora, majority of the Ghanaians in the diaspora, I beg. This is no fight. I know my people. This is just something we need to address. Long and short, we need to grow the interest back. And the question is how?
What made them lose the fire?
We are open as performers, as artists, as athletes. We are open to hearing what it is that we could do to grow the interest back to that level where, as an icon as big as I am from Ghana representing Africa, would have to sell out in a second. When I put out anything over there, say, yo, we're coming. We need to, and the bargain is now on that other side. What I am doing is really impeccable. What Sarkodie is doing is impeccable. I'm only mentioning names who are doing something. Remember, say, we know the thing from the inside as well as we're growing, we're learning. Yeah. It's not easy. I've mentioned 2 names intentionally.
Facts.
I stand to be bombarded. No malice. Then I'll mention, we're doing our most. We are managing, we are doing it. May I not leave out anybody that's not supposed to be left out. But to cover up, I know why I just leave it for 2 names. Shatawales, Saminis, the Kiddies, the Kwame Eugenes, the King Promises.
And now Black Sheriff.
These are our brothers. These are Jackie. These are our junior brothers now. You know, say, we are young, but they are younger.
Benny.
You know how CB. You see what I'm saying? We want to know why and what we can do to have that. You see, it's a family. There has to be a family in every situation. Quincy Jones is a grandfather in the industry in America.
Facts.
At every Grammy, the grandfathers must speak.
Yes.
The presence of the grandfathers must be felt because that is an institution right there.
Yep.
Leave that side for us. We know we have to we have to, as much as it may be one of the reasons why we're still working and we're still fixing things the way it should be. But that on the side, I want to speak to this one, that we want to know what will grow back this interest, because that is the part of the bargain that will help us, that will push us. May I take away help so that it doesn't become like a favor? Help is a favor.
Let me tell you something that I've said recently. And I said that after going for the sold-out Sarkodie and Composers show at the Alternate Day 2, which is Ghana Independence. I've said publicly, privately, that arguably one of my favorite days to go out in London and my favorite events to go to is a Ghanaian Independence. The reason I mentioned them Stage A and 5-5 and Castro and Tiffany was because the one that changed my life in this Afrobeats world was a Ghanaian Independence. Shout out to DJ Abrante, Alodia, everybody.
Yes.
That they put together, Akwaba, that they put together and brought all these people to London.
Yeah.
I walked into the Indigo 2 that day and my life changed forever. Got footages of it.
Yeah, but they have been doing these shows from time.
So what I wanted to say is, at that time, when hip life was hot and they tapped into the national pride of Ghanaians in diaspora and brought that together, that movement became unstoppable. That every outsider, myself included,
to be a part of.
You want to be there.
Exactly.
So now let's take away the incredible Ghanaian Independence Day celebrations. Yeah. Now let's take away the Ghanaian artists that were also coming into town on a regular basis. Yeah. What you get is a reduction in interest. Yeah. Because what happens is the one major Ghanaian independence celebration that we all used to go to now became 7 every year. Different people had theirs. So there's one in Wembley, there's one in Stratford, there's one at Stratford Rex, there's one in Southeast London, there's one. So the collective champions of Ghanaian music who at some point were working together alongside the entertainers who now signposted to one building to go and enjoy and see these guys. Add that on top of that the Ghanaian artists as well take it in their time to come into these markets, whether they're doing shows or not, to come and promote. Dip your hand in your pocket, fly to London. At a point, it felt like Wizkid was living here. At a point, it felt like Burna Boy lives here. At a point, it felt like the list goes on. All of them. A lot of the Ghanaian artists, only some of them at the time, with all due respect, saw these international waters as waters to tread when you get a phone call to come and perform. And the industry was going through a transformation where it was not only phone calls that brought you into London.
Yeah. Now let me add to that too, so that it doesn't be. It's a conversation. Yeah. But also the back ends of having to fly into town should be addressed. Yeah. This is where the common Nigerian could single-handedly
the numbers
cover that.
Absolutely.
The back
Absolutely.
The back ends of it.
Yep.
You know that
the
single
power,
Nigerians,
the financial might of people that are interested in entertainment. Facts. I get it.
Single Nigerians who would get nothing back.
Yes.
Not to take it away from the individual interest of artists who can dip into their own coffers and make it happen.
Yeah.
But there was
support systems.
The support system
that went looking at the business entities
is coming from the interest part again.
Steve.
So the interest part that I'm speaking about is not only show patronage.
It's even in the corners of their rooms where people don't see.
Exactly.
Need people to be.
And which is what would be part of the contribution to the greatness that we're seeing on our Nigerian side.
Absolutely. I agree.
And I'm happy that you are definitely a Nigerian that can also attest to that fact. So when I'm talking interest, I'm talking, we would have Nigerians who will put their houses down and say, Omo, Anna, you be...
Facts.
What are you doing in Lagos, Sef? Because
the
truth is that, okay, you are trying, so they're seeing you on a certain journey.
So they'll come and support.
So when they don't hear from you in 2 months, they're like,
they call. I agree.
I've gotten some support. Let me be honest, bro. I've only gotten 4 gifts on my birthday so far. I don't mind, I'm just saying, on the 5th of March. One of those was by a Nigerian, which was significant. So we're speaking about interests, which is really very true. That our brothers and sisters in the diaspora, we want to know, now is a question, what we can do to get that interest. So that we can also continue to add to the flow. Because I get the questions most often like, yeah man, so why is it that we're not hearing from more Ghanaians?
Because you're pushing doors, you're going.
Because we're doing it. And even at the places where I would hear why you're not, it's a place that you can't get to even be asked.
Even as an African, to get into those rooms are even difficult. Now,
if we ask that question, Seth, so you don't say,
Now, finally, you're talking about the Fifth Dimension, the album.
Yeah.
Do we have a date for it?
We have a date. It's out. It's on the 28th of April, 2023.
I saw that promo. There was a promo clip put on social media. Someone sent it to me and said, it looks like Stonebwoy is... The gloves are off now. Stonebwoy is going in like a champion, bro.
Unless they kill God.
As long as God lives, it's about to go down.
We're still pushing, and it's been the same energy from start, to be honest.
Def Jam supported?
Yeah, man. It's a collaborative venture between Burnham Music Group and Def Jam. So Def Jam is on this one. And, it's just to continue to increase the levels, no matter what it is,
And
there is a need for growth. There's a need to push.
And the interesting thing is, the head of Def Jam is a Nigerian brother.
Nama Oga be that.
And he did something.
Nama Oga be that.
He did something. The listening you had in New
He
York.
flew all the way from LA, and he actually
he was the
surprised
one that
me.
did
He
the
actually
introduction.
he actually surprised. You see how I'm saying? You see the interest. You see the intention. You see. I'm. This is a podcast, and we're really being honest over
Facts,
here. So,
facts.
have I flaunted when I talk about interest and intention? Do you believe that we have that more in our ends as Ghanaian people? Just narrowing the conversation to Ghana, Nigeria. Do you think? I don't want to put you in a spot,
No,
but
listen,
I don't think it is.
I've said it to you before that, there are some of the most powerful people I know in the music business, from Apple to Spotify to YouTube, are actually Ghanaians. I told you before.
Yeah, exactly. And
And
that's
they've
why I
been
broke it
open
up. Yeah.
to support
Yes.
Ghanaian musicians.
But that's why I broke it down
yeah.
from the beginning, that the interest is not from those who are holding some key positions.
It's the wider.
The interest that I'm talking about is the wider audience, the common business guy in one corner who can control a lot of things that is not necessarily connected to anything entertainment. Because a Ghanaian lady, for instance, at Apple, Spotify, wherever, is supposed to serve a continent and
Facts.
beyond. She's not there for Ghanaians. No, is she there for Nigerians only, but she's there for the collectivity of black music. Even if you're Caribbean, even if you come from Pluto and
She
you're
has
black,
to
that's her
respond to that.
duty.
Facts.
So we couldn't localize that one to be that now put only Ghana, put only Ghana. That's not the kind of interest I'm saying. For her to be able to, or for them in these positions to be able to grow to that level is even wonderful. We have to applaud them,
Absolutely.
because this is against a million
All odds.
other
Shout outs to my sisters at Apple,
and,
Spotify.
and the brothers that we don't even know about, the producers behind the scenes, etc.
Absolutely.
Anytime
Shout
I
out.
chance on some of, I'm like, whoa,
Stunned. Stunned. Stunned.
So the interest that I'm talking about is actually on the other side. That's why I'm asking why. Because when it comes together, then there'll be then you will see the reflection.
The results.
Because when you're seeing the sold out in 2 seconds, in 3 seconds, and etc., instead of the last minute turn up, our shows been New York. I did a weekend in New York and Ohio, all sold out.
Yeah.
But you get the feeling at the end,
It's last minute.
industry
that we
structure
know.
is not structured to grow that way. It's structured to grow when they see sold out in the beginnings. That's when some people can come and
Interest.
be talking to you. That's when they can. So the interest, I'm putting this, I don't mean to make any enemy. I'm saying it. I know this is going to be cropped different ways and
I
they're going to
think
post it. I appreciate any form of patronage.
Eventually, it
But the
opens
reality is that I want to
conversation.
know.
He opens the conversation
And
that
there
needs
is a
to be had
need for the Ghanaian interest,
to be increased.
the majority to be increased. There are a percentage of other Ghanaians who fly from everywhere to come to our
support,
shows,
man.
especially in Europe whatsoever. And they would wish that it's the same
I was standing next to
and more.
I was standing next to two beautiful ladies that had flown in from Hamburg to see Sarkodie.
Exactly.
They flew in.
So there are a percentage that are pushing, but the majority would make a lot of sense, because guess what? The same capacities that are like the same venues that own 50,000 own 5,000.
Facts.
And it's a matter of numbers. If a Nigerian
They
would
see
feel a
that
20K,
they'll
a
open that
Ghanaian would
door
feel a 10K, respectfully. But
Facts.
guess what? When the 10Ks or 5Ks are becoming more
Overfilled.
beautiful,
They'll open the bigger doors.
it's going to attract, like you're saying, when the Ghanaian parties and the independences were
We wanna
strong,
be there.
were Congolese not there.
Everybody was there.
So this is what's happening. So it can
wanted
only
to
look
be
very
there.
beautiful. So this is why I stand to say that if a Ghanaian, if a Nigerian can do, a Ghanaian can also
Absolutely.
do.
Absolutely.
Because then it's not, the first talk could not be numbers. And I said this on a Breakfast Club, and I think a few people didn't. I said it, that it's one of my points, but which is not the first point for me. It's not because of numbers. It starts from intention. It starts from how to put things together, the processes, and then luckily your numbers will back it up. But even so, we have cultures that have pushed genres and have pushed styles that are not up to, a very
Bruh.
a very
Jamaica controlled the entire world.
yeah.
The numbers
with
of the
reggae.
country itself.
Exactly. So
They control the
that's what
entire
I'm saying.
world, and
It
they
goes-
shifted pop music till today.
Exactly.
You
So
know?
you see what I'm saying. So
I
so that's
agree.
one of the things that I think there has to be a conversation about
We will
the
have
interest, and I think we've had it. I'm grateful for the opportunity, and I don't mean to step on anybody's toes, however. But if you're interested in seeing the Ghanaian movies grow like Nigerian movies are growing,
then you have to support.
we all do have to have that unflinching more. I know there are some people who have it, but it needs to become a cultural something, a religious something, to want to even pull up before they come and tell you.
Listen, like I said, conversations with you, because of how passionate you are, how passionate I am about the growth of African music, the growth of African people, the growth of African pop culture, is not going to be limited to one conversation. We will have a lot more of these. Again, the album comes out April 28th.
Yeah.
The Fifth Dimension, Stonebwoy, partnership with Def Jam. This is here and now, about to take
Definitely.
over. Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for my superstar
The
guest.
Afrobeats podcast.